to tell us why he wouldn't do infrastructure. And, of course, then he went to the Rose Garden with prepared signs that had been printed up long before our meeting.
I walked into the room and I told Senator Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, I want to do infrastructure. I want to do it more than you want to do it. I'd be really good at that. That's what I do. But you know what? You can't do it under these circumstances. So get these phony investigations over with.
In an orchestrated, almost to a oh poor baby point of view, he came into the room and said that I said that he was engaged in a cover-up and he couldn't possibly engage in a conversation on infrastructure as long as we are investigating him. That's what happened this morning. It was very, very, very strange.
They want to make this a big deal. Whether or not they carry the big I word out, I can't imagine that, but they probably would. All of a sudden, I hear last night they're going to have a meeting right before this meeting to talk about the I word. The I word. Can you imagine?
The president was about 10 minutes late coming in, and what I noticed is there was no chair set for where he regularly sits. So there is no doubt in my mind that this was a show with no go on infrastructure. It was a show because the president was angry.
Instead of walking in happily into a meeting, I walk in to look at people that had just said that I was doing a cover-up. I don't do cover-ups. You people know that probably better than anybody.
And then he looked into the camera and he said, "Danger is my middle name."
Yeah.
John Heilman, I've seen third-grade plays that were carried off with...
That's the thing.
Really more...
subtlety? More applause?
More subtly, that were more convincing.
Incredible.
More convincing, yeah.
It was just very bad acting on the president's part. You'd think as many years as he was on The Apprentice, he could have pulled that off a little better, but it was such a bad production.
Well, a bad production, and to re-raise a point that we discussed in the last hour, I mean, the president just does not seem to get that impeachment is a thing that presidents, some have survived and some have not. But Richard Nixon did not. Bill Clinton in some ways thrived during impeachment, but he thrived during impeachment by saying over and over again to people, I'm doing the people's business. These Republicans are focused on me. I'm focused on you. That was Bill Clinton, right?
Yeah.
And he won the argument.
Yeah. Like
Donald Trump is basically saying, I can't do the people's business as long as anyone's looking at me. I'm paralyzed. I don't see how that's a winning argument. But Joe, here's the question I want to ask you real quick. The I word. Like, what's that about? Is he trying to turn impeachment into a profanity? Or is this just actually that the word impeachment really actually is in his head to a degree that he can't bring say it?
He wants to be impeached so badly. No, he does.
And Nancy knows that.
He does. He wants to be impeached so badly.
Yes, it's
so
his dream.
The Senate can then decide that he's not going to be convicted, can acquit him. And he saw what happened with Bill Clinton, whose presidency he looks at and studies an awful lot. And he saw that Bill Clinton went up to 60%.
It's desperate.
After he was impeached. He knows he's got no record to run on other than making his billionaire friends at Mar-a-Lago and his other friends that hang out at Mar-a-Lago, like Jeffrey Epstein. He made those people a lot of money. Other than that, he doesn't have much to show for it for Democrats and independents. So he wants to be victimized. He loves to be victimized. As Nancy Pelosi said yesterday, oh, poor baby.
Yeah,
Let's bring in right now. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mika.
This is a president who's desperate to be impeached. He's desperate to turn the attention on him in the most chaotic way.
He loves playing.